Okay, your block is ready to print. There's a few things we need to do before we start printing. First, if you have not done this, flip your block over, make sure your name is on the back, and put your hour on there. Also, find the top of your block. So here's my top. You know, the bee's head is up there. Label, put an arrow, and then put top. Because when you print every layer, you want to make sure the top is always facing the same direction. Now we have to make a registration so that you can line up every layer correctly. You're going to need to get a transparency from me or Ms. Buckles. There is not enough. I don't believe there's enough for everybody to have their own. So we will figure this out. What you want to do is use one of those colored pieces of paper that you're going to be printing on. I'm using white. It's a 5x7. I'm going to put that underneath, and I want to make sure it is straight. I'm going to drop my transparency over it. And then holding on to it, I'm going to mark where the corners are. And I'm not going to mark them way out here, but I'm going to draw my lines right on the corners. So there's a corner. Here's one. There's another corner. And another corner. Now, while keeping that paper underneath, I'm going to put my block on top of it. And I want my block to be right in the middle. And so I'm just eyeballing it, but it looks like the white space around each side is roughly the same. And then I'm going to mark those corners as well. This is just one way to register. There are a ton of other ways, but for us, this is the best way. I'm gonna move my block. I can remove the paper. And then I am gonna put my name in the bottom. If you can share with someone at your table, put both of your names. Now, it looks like everyone should be able to use this, but I'm gonna mark one more thing. When I flip this over to print, you can see it says top over this way. So I'm gonna write top right here. And I did that so I know my top should always face that direction when I'm printing. If I print this way and my top is not facing up here, my print will not match up. All right. Once you have your registration figured out, you can just set this aside. Do not lose it. Just set it aside on your desk. And now I am ready to start carving. And I'm gonna make this teal and yellow butterfly with the silver. And so I have my copy of what I need to carve first. What I want to carve first is I want to carve away anything that is going to stay white. Anything that is going to stay the color of my paper. And so I know for me it's going to be the inside of the wings and then all around. Before I do that, I want to thicken up these wing lines because I'm going to carve around them. So I just want to make sure they're thick enough. All right. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use a highlighter and I'm gonna color in anything that is staying white. So all of these wings I'm gonna carve. And then I need to carve all around in here. So because that's such a large space, I'm not gonna color it all in. I'm just gonna show you that I know where I need to carve. So for my first layer, I'm carving a lot. For your first layer, you might be carving very little. I have my bench hook so I can be safe. The larger part hooks on the table. The smaller ledge is gonna hold my block in place. I have my gouge. Now, I know it's kind of hard to see, but my gouge is a number 5. So that's really big. I don't want to use that big of one yet. I want to use the really teeny tiny one. Because I have such small letters and such little shapes that I want to carve around. Now, please remember to be safe. Do not put your hand in front of where you are carving. Do not carve at yourself, because if it slides, it's going to poke right into you. And these are blades on the end. The next thing, you don't hold it like a pencil, because it's not one, it's a gouge. You want to put the end of it right into your palm, grasp it, and then put your pointer finger on top like this. I also have my practice block here if I need to try something. I'm just going to keep that close. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm pushing down, going around, and then I'm coming up when I need to. And you're going to notice that carving this block is so much easier than carving the old one that you had. My line I'm carving is really small right now, and that's just to get my edges. And I could even probably switch to a number 2 or a number 3. So I'll show you with just this little piece. I'm gonna outline it. Which I've done. And then once I've done that with everything, I would switch out my blade. We'll put the 5 back in, even though this might be a little too big. And now I'm more comfortable coming in with my 5 and kind of carving away. All right, this is going to take me a while to carve, so I am going to continue to carve that. But before I do, I want to show you a couple of examples. especially one like this ice cream cone, you can see this artist liked those lines, liked that texture in the background, so they left some of that. And they're all kind of pointing into the ice cream cone. They also carved some designs into the ice cream. You can see here as well, the background has green and the flowers have green, but they still look different because the background, a lot of it was carved away, but the artist just left a few lines. Another one that shows great texture, especially in the background. Now here is an artist that carved everything away really, really well. And so their image just looks a little more flat because you don't have the texture in there. So it's really up to you.